evening and Salam Aidil Adha. You're tuning in to 7Edition. I'm Xantia Rohaizad and these are tonight's top stories. Muslims celebrate moderate yet joyful Eid of sacrifice nationwide. Air quality in Miri deteriorates and remains at hazardous level. And couple remanded for a week over death of motorist. We begin the bulletin with this story. Muslims nationwide celebrated Hari Raya Aidil Adha in a moderate, peaceful and blessed manner today, accompanied by good weather in most parts of the country and in the spirit of sacrifice as well as gratitude. The second of the two most important Islamic holidays saw thousands of Muslims in Kuantan, Pahang performing the Aidil Adha prayers alongside Yang di-Pertuan Agong Al-Sultan Abdullah Riayatuddin Al-Mustafa Bilal Shah this morning. Al-Sultan Abdullah and the Raja Permaisuri Agong Tunku Azizah Aminah Maimunah Iskandariah arrived at the Sultan Ahmad I Mosque at 8:15 a.m. The King and Queen were accompanied by the acting Raja Pahang, Tunku Hasan Al-Ibrahim Alam Shah. The royal family were also joined by Islamic Affairs, Education and Health Exco, Dato Sri Said Ibrahim Said Ahmad, State Mufti Dato Sri Dr. Abdul Rahman Osman, as well as State Police Chief Dato Abdul Jalil Hassan. The prayer was led by Imam Muhammad Khalil Muhammad Zari, while the special sermon was delivered by Khatib Dato Badli Shah Alauddin. The fine weather in the morning enabled Muslims to perform their prayers comfortably before taking part in Qurban or sacrificial offering of livestock carried out at mosques, villages and residential areas. In the federal capital, the Prime Minister joined thousands of Muslims to perform Aidil Adha prayers at the National Mosque this morning. The prayer was led by the National Mosque Grand Imam Tan Sri Sheikh Ismail Muhammad.
Saya ucap selamat Hari Raya Aidil Adha kepada seluruh umat Islam di Malaysia dan di seluruh dunia. Dan saya ingin ingatkan semua pihak bahawa ini adalah Hari Raya Kurban. Iaitu kita mesti tahu berkurban. Bukan saja berkurban dengan penyembelihan binatang, tetapi juga dalam tingkah laku kita, usaha-usaha kita mesti sanggup berkorban supaya dengan itu terselamatlah orang lain. Inilah harapan kita, iaitu kita belajar tentang berkorban dan akan pentingnya pengorbanan di kalangan umat Islam.
Meanwhile, the Imam Tan Sri Sheikh Ismail, in his sermon entitled Aidil Adha, Where is Our Sacrifice?, called on all Muslims to take a caring approach and be prepared to sacrifice by extending aid to Muslims suffering all over the world. He also said the sacrifice and assistance are based on one's capability to provide money, energy, thoughts, as well as prayers. Meanwhile, in Kota Baru, Kelantan, Sultan Muhammad V performed his Aidil Adha prayers with 5,000 Muslims at the Muhammadi Mosque. His Majesty arrived at 8 in the morning, accompanied by the Tengku Mahkota of Kelantan, Dr. Tengku Muhammad Faiz Petra, Kelantan Menteri Besar Dato Ahmad Yaakob, as well as several state government senior officers. In Kuala Terengganu, Sultan Mizan Zainal Abidin prayed at the Al-Muktafi Bilal Shah Mosque with 2,000 other congregants. His Majesty had arrived at the mosque at 7:40 a.m. and was accompanied by the Yang di-Pertuan Muda Terengganu, Tengku Muhammad Ismail and Terengganu Menteri Besar Datuk Sri Dr. Ahmad Samsuri Mokhtar. not any different in Kuala Pilah. Yang di-Pertuan Besar Negeri Sembilan, Tuanku Muhriz Tuanku Munawir, performed his prayers with a congregation of about 1,000 Muslims at the Tuanku Munawir Sri Menanti Mosque. The ruler had arrived at 8:30 a.m., accompanied by Tuanku Ampuan Besar, Tuanku Aisyah Rohani, Tunku Besar Seri Menanti, Tunku Ali Redaudin Ibni Tuanku Muhriz, as well as Tunku Zain Al-Abidin Ibni Tuanku Muhriz.
Across the globe, Malaysians in Indonesia gathered at the country's embassy in Jakarta today in conjunction with the festival. More than 500 people comprising embassy staff, their families, students and others living in Jakarta joined newly appointed Ambassador Zainal Abidin Bakar to mark the occasion. They later joined a sacrificial offering ceremony held at the compound of the embassy.
Daging-daging tersebut kita akan menghadiahkan kepada rakyat Indonesia yang diperlukan dan juga di kalangan staf-staf kedutaan. Semoga ibadah kurban kami pada kali ini diterima oleh Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala.
Meanwhile, Muslim pilgrims pray at Mount Arafat, also known as Jabal al-Rahmah or the Mount of Mercy, in southeast of the Saudi holy city of Mecca. Arafat is the site where Muslims believe the Prophet Muhammad gave his last sermon about 14 centuries ago after leading his followers on the pilgrimage. Over in Kashmir, locals were seen purchasing groceries in preparation for the festival. This after authorities eased a crippling curfew to let the Himalayan region celebrate the major Muslim festival. In Palestine, Islamic Jihad leader Khalid al-Bach gave a speech to fellow Palestinians. This as they mark Eid al-Adha, calling on their people to pursue the resistance in all forms against the Israeli occupiers.
Back to the home front, the air quality in Miri, Sarawak continues to deteriorate and remains at hazardous levels with an air pollutant index API reading of 395 at 7 p.m. compared to 327 12 hours ago. While in Johor and Xantia, Selangor, the air is still at unhealthy levels with a 126 API reading. Satellite images from the ASEAN Specialized Meteorological Center's website shows 3 hotspots nearby Miri. There were also several other hotspots detected near Sarike and Cebu. The rest of the country had moderate API readings, with only the northern region reporting good quality air. Kanga in Perlis and Alusta, Kedah had readings below 50 API earlier in the day after a storm hit the northern states on Friday, but the API readings there are slowly rising. To find out more about the cause of the haze in Miri, we spoke to our correspondent in Sarawak, Kadir Edison. So, Kadir, why is the air quality deteriorating in the area?
The hot and dry weather is because of the changes of the monsoon has caused some area in Sarawak to be affected by forest and bushes fire. The area near Miri Industrial Training Institute is severely affected by the rapid rising in the air pollutant index API, with reading above 300 API, which indicate the API is in danger level. According to Zone 6 Miri Fire and Rescue Department Chief Lau Po Kiong, the firefighting carried out by his team in the area near to the institute has produced a lot of smokes that has indirectly led to the significant increase in API in the area. This is due to the institutes being located less than a kilometer away from the burning bush area. However, he told me that the fire situation in that particular area is under control, as the bushfire that happened is within the fire break area. At the moment, according to him, Fire and Rescue Department couldn't use the total flooding method to extinguish the fire involved because of uneven terrain, and it is unsuitable for the particular method. As of noon today, a total of 200 open fire cases across the states has been received by the Fire and Rescue Department, covering 610 acres. Yesterday also recorded the highest numbers of open fire cases ever recorded by the department since the first open fire last August 1st, with total of 58 cases reported. Thank you.
Thank you for those updates. Now that was Kadir Edison, our correspondent in Sarawak. Moving on, Johor Crown Prince Tunku Ismail Sultan Ibrahim has been appointed as the regent of Johor. In a statement, Tunku Ismail said he was given the responsibilities as the state administered today by his father, Sultan Ibrahim Sultan Iskandar. The regent of Johor was entrusted by the Sultan of Johor to carry out duties, administer the state of Johor, and has all powers provided to a sultan, which can be exercised at any time. This is not the first time the Crown Prince, popularly known as TMJ, was appointed as the regent. In April 15, 2016, he was appointed with the same responsibilities during the absence of Sultan Ibrahim, who visited several countries including Japan on April 16th and returned on May 3rd. Tunku Ismail, who is the first in line to the Johor throne, was also appointed as the acting Johor ruler in 2011. He became the Crown Prince of Johor with the title of Tunku Mahkota Johor on January 28, 2010. Onto a court story. A couple was remanded for 7 days beginning today to assist a police probe into the death of a motorist following a road rage incident at Bandar Baru Bangi, Selangor. The remand order was issued to the duo separately by the Kajang Magistrates Court.
The 40-year-old man and his wife, aged 36, are being investigated under the Penal Code for murder. Both suspects and the victim were allegedly involved in the road rage incident at 1:40 p.m. yesterday. This shortly after they got into a fender bender on the Plus Expressway near the Sungai Besi Toll Plaza, heading south. According to police, the minor collision led to the victim chasing after the couple's car. Both cars then stopped by the highway, where a scuffle broke out between the male suspect and the victim. It was also alleged that the victim had taken out a baseball bat from his car and used it to hit the bonnet of the couple's car. The suspect then stepped on the accelerator, causing the car to lunge forward, pinning the victim between the car and the road divider. The victim was rushed to the Nilai Medical Center but succumbed to his injuries. Police have advised the public to stop speculating on the accident as it does not involve any racial issues.
Police arrested one of the two suspects involved in an attempted robbery involving a Grab food delivery rider at Fileo Damansara, Petaling Jaya, several days ago. The 33-year-old suspect was picked up yesterday and admitted to committing the crime with another accomplice. He was arrested at an apartment in Taman Kepong, where police also seized a helmet and 2 motorcycles. Investigations revealed that the suspect had prior criminal records for theft and possession of stolen items. In the August 9th incident, the 22-year-old victim was stopped by 2 men who then proceeded to attack him while trying to ride off with his motorcycle. The victim fought back and managed to stop the suspects from stealing his bike. Police are still on the hunt for the other suspect. When we return, floods in India kill at least 100. Stay with us. We're back with foreign news. Floods have killed at least 100 people and displaced hundreds of thousands across much of India, with the southern state of Kerala worst hit as of Saturday. With rains predicted to worsen in coming days, the government has ordered military teams to form rescue units as well as airlift food to stranded villages across the state. At least 48 people have died since Thursday in floods in Kerala, where the beaches and hill resorts are a major international tourist magnet, while its main port at Kochi has also been closed. In neighboring Karnataka, at least 24 people have been killed, with 9 others unaccounted for. The western states of Maharashtra and Gujarat have also been badly hit by annual monsoon storms. According to authorities, at least 27 people have lost their lives in Maharashtra, with several major roads closed by floods. The worst fears are for Kerala, where about 120,000 people have moved into emergency relief camps. The annual deluge is crucial to replenishing water supplies in the impoverished region. However, the downpour from June to September often turns deadly. Luxembourg began cleanup operations on Saturday after a violent twister ripped through the tiny state's southwest, causing serious damage to dozens of homes and injuring 19 people. The tornado hit towns close to the French and Belgian borders on Friday, with winds of almost 130 kilometers an hour, ripping roofs off 60 houses, tearing down trees, as well as blocking roads with debris. According to authorities, up to 100 homes were no longer habitable, while out of the 19 injured, 2 were in a serious condition. In Basharaj, the town worst hit by the tornado, residents were left to clear up the ravages of the storm. Across the border in France, the Meurthe et Moselle also suffered torn-off roofs and uprooted trees. Fortunately, no injuries were reported. It's time for our daily segment, Clickbait, where we take a look at what's trending and making the rounds in the cyber world today. Malaysian laundromats have been making the news for a number of surprising crimes, from stealing other customers' laundry to killing a cat in the dryer. Recently, the owner of one premise, known as Mat Nase, was both appalled and furious by an uncivilized act by a teen girl who urinated inside his outlet and shared footages of the incident on Facebook, which also shocked netizens. Here's a story. Ooh, you're in trouble. In the latest and bizarre case of local laundromats, what seems to be a teenage girl was caught on CCTV allegedly peeing on the floor of one in Bukit Baru, Melaka last Tuesday. If you think that's the worst that could happen, it was also reported that the girl stole some customers' laundry to cover her excretions. Mat Nase was at his outlet for a routine check when he noticed a puddle of liquid nearby a bench in his premise. Curious, he pulled out his phone to go through the surveillance clip and saw what actually happened. The girl was reportedly loitering at the outlet 3 days after the incident and was quizzed by the owner on the third day over the motives of her actions. It is not immediately known if a police report was lodged over the incident. Netizens were disgusted at the girl's actions, of how she could have found the nearest toilet instead of relieving herself on the spot. Meanwhile, others revolted over the girl's act of urinating with her pants on. After the break, we're going to take a peek into the future of Malaysian urban mobility. Details next. Welcome back. It's time for Future Now, where we take a peek at the world of tomorrow today. Many are not aware that even short-distance travel, especially by car, motorcycle, or bus, can still leave a huge carbon footprint. However, micromobility can be a more green and efficient alternative that can lessen the harmful impact on our planet. Trike, a homegrown company, on the other hand, is aiming beyond just eco-friendly commuting by paving the way for the future of urban mobility in Malaysia. Recently, I got a chance to find out how the company plans to roll out its vision of micromobility in the country. Urbanization and clean energy on the rise across the globe, Malaysians too are finding ways to go green. One company called Trike is exploring the technology by offering us e-scooters as an initiative to decrease our dependence on motor vehicles to travel between short distances. So guys, what are we waiting for? Let's trike it out. But before we get into it, what is micromobility?
So micromobility is a term that encompasses a group of vehicles that is most suitable for short distance travel. So think anything between 0 to 10 kilometers. They're mostly electric and they're mostly personal. So it's only used for one person. So the electric scooter, for example, is a good example of a micromobility device. And so is the electric bike, electric mopeds. So that whole range of vehicles is called micromobility. Right?
Although the electric scooter or e-scooter sharing service market is still fairly new in Malaysia, rest assured that the trend is growing rapidly.
Based on the data we've collected so far, I think Malaysians are starting to very quickly understand the benefits of micromobility, and I think they're very ready. It's just about, I think the issue is the execution of the service. Yes, the infrastructure and the regulatory constraints are not as developed yet as opposed to like Singapore or a neighbor, but I think we're making small steps towards that direction, and us as Trike being the first and only local Malaysian provider for this service, we want to lead the way in paving the way to create that framework and infrastructure.
However, the government still needs to address certain concerns to make micromobility more mainstream, such as laws on licensing and regulating this light mode of transport. Despite this, Trike, which rolled out its services in May this year, is zooming forward in creating a thriving ecosystem for micromobility.
So what we've decided to do is start with university campuses, because if you think about university campuses, it's technically like almost mini towns, mini cities. They're very confined. It's almost like a test bed. We thought it was a perfect test bed for us to start service, figure out what are the rooms for improvements before we roll it out to the main cities. So in an effort to finally end up in KL, hopefully one day, we've actually started to operate in campuses in Malaysia. And when KL is ready and when we're ready, then we'll roll it out to the main cities.
Just like other e-scooter sharing services, Trike is connected via the Internet of Things, which allows the company to remotely monitor, control, and manage its two-wheelers from the back end.
A user just has to download our app. You can find it on the Apple Store or Google Play. It's TRYKE. And once you download it, you create an account. All you have to do is simply scan the QR code and it's on. And you can ride it to any one of our parking stations.
Apart from the e-scooters, which cost from as low as 1 ringgit 20 cent to ride for a distance of up to 5 kilometers, Trike also plans to expand its micromobility business even further within 5 years to include electric bicycles and motorcycles, as well as autonomous vehicles. The company is also working on issues that may arise from e-scooter related accidents, such as insurance compensation.
If you think about the network that we're going to build with all these scooters around KL or anywhere we place our scooters, you can do so much on top of it, right? Commuting is one of it, but imagine if you can do tourism, logistics, delivery. There's so many things that you can build on top of this network of micromobility.
As interest and demand for this last-mile transportation solution continue to surge upwards, slowly but surely, city dwellers will embrace micromobility as the ideal way forward. Xantia Rohaizad for 7Edition. Eid al-Adha is one of 2 main festivals observed by over 1.8 billion Muslims worldwide. Also known as Hari Raya Korban or Hari Raya Haji, the festival marks the end of the Hajj pilgrimage. Wrapping up 7Edition this evening are visuals of the celebration, and on behalf of the team, Salam Eid al-Adha again to our Muslim viewers. I'm Xantia Rohaizad. Thanks for tuning in, and till we meet next time, good night.
الله أكبر ولله الحمد الله أكبر لا الله أكبر الله أكبر الله